Hey there, comic book community. My name is Joe, and you're watching 360 Comics. Since the weather has been getting nicer, I have been out every weekend at yard sales and flea markets hunting for comic books. Now, these are really hit or miss. Sometimes you find nothing at all. Other times you find a bunch of mass-produced 90s junk that isn't worth a dime. But occasionally you will strike gold or silver, and by that I mean find books from the silver or golden age of comics. And that is the story I've got for you today. So stick around because you don't want to miss the big key at the end. If you're enjoying this content, make sure you hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up for a like, and leave a comment down below. That gives you one entry to our current giveaway for this copy of Secret Wars #1. You can check out all of our other videos from the month of May and the month of June for additional entries. I woke up bright and early on Sunday morning at 6 a.m. to go over to one of my regular flea markets at which I hunt for comics. Now, I didn't do too well there. I only grabbed a couple things, nothing to write home about, but one of the vendors there that's more of a video game and toy guy told me he had been at a different flea market the day before and there was someone selling comics there. He told me it was a 2-day event, so they should be there today as well. So I immediately said, hey, you know what? I'm not doing well here. I'm going to head over. It was only 10 minutes away from the location that I was at, so it was easy to get to. And when I got there, I found not only one dealer had comics, but a second guy as well. The first guy, the one that he was talking about, was mainly a comic book dealer. Had comics, pops, and pop culture, things like that. The other guy just had a bunch of random stuff, antiques, and also just happened to have comic books. Now, I got something from both of them, including one really, really big key. The first group of books is all from the antique dealer guy. He had a bundle of 30 comic books from the silver and golden age, and I actually got all of them. We'll talk about price at the end after I show you that big key, but let's get into my haul from him. Starting off with the lowest valued books in the bunch, we've got Archie number 129 from 1962. This unfortunately has a detached cover, but it's a Silver Age book nonetheless. I have it marked for $5. Next up, we've got Archie number 138 from 1963. This one is completely intact, although low grade, nothing too special about it, also $5. Then we've got Archie number 150 from 1964. Has a really great bowling alley cover, but again, it is detached, so just $5. These are, probably going to get bundled together at some point. Next, we got Archie's Madhouse Annual. Unfortunately, the back cover is missing. By the way, this is annual number 1. Back cover's missing. I just did it as $5 as an incomplete book. Then we've got Archie's Joke Book. This is from 1965 and is issue 86. $5 book. It is complete and intact and everything, but nothing special. Jughead, Archie's pal Jughead number 113 from 1964. Again, complete, but nothing really special there. Then we're moving on to some Dell stuff. This is from 1954, so this is a Golden Age book. Unfortunately, the cover is detached on it. It's lower grade. It's got one of these photo covers, which was pretty common with Western books back in the Golden Age of comics. And yeah, because the cover's detached, just $5. Then we've got Casper's Ghostland from 1960, early Silver Age. $5 for that. It does have, again, a detached cover. A lot of these lower value books you'll see, and as we start to get higher in value, the books will become, better condition for the most part. Next, we got some classic illustrated. This is House of Seven Gables from originally printed in the 40s. This is one of the reprints of this. For those of you who don't know, Classics Illustrated, they printed these multiple times for years, sometimes even decades. And the way to tell is look at the list of books on the back from Classics Illustrated. And the highest recorded number, or HRN, is the highest number book that is available from their ordering system. So this one it goes up to book number 121. Normally, first printing of this book would only go up to 51 because that's the issue before this. This one goes much farther than that. It's a reprint probably. Originally this book's from the 40s, but this is probably from the 60s, so just $5. Little Dot, number 109, 1967. Again, sadly a detached cover, but a really awesome carnival theme park cover. Really cool book, but hey, $5, why not? Last of the $5 books, we got Walt Disney's Silly Symphonies, number 8, featuring the 7 dwarves on the cover. And unfortunately, it's missing the back cover, so we're going to go with $5 on this one. That is all the cheaper books out of the way, and it starts to creep up in value here. We got some Sylvester and Tweety back from the Golden Age 1956. I actually forgot to write what issue number this is, but yeah, it's a Golden Age Sylvester and Tweety book. Not a key or anything, but I have it for $7 because it is complete and intact from the Golden Age. Then a little bit later than this, 1957, the early Silver Age, we've got Bugs Bunny number... Again, did not write the number on this. I believe this was number 55. I think I remember that because I remember this one being issue number 58. 2 Bugs Bunny books from the early Silver Age. Nothing to write home about, but pretty cool nonetheless. Great covers. Moving on, those were the only $7 books that I got, but we're going to go with the $10 ones now. This one's a little bit better. We're going to some DC territory here from the very early Silver Age. Fox and Crow, a good comedy run from DC. And this is issue number 42 from 1957. Complete and intact. We'll call it $10. One more DC book. These were the only 2. This is the Mouseketeers, issue number 7. And DC from 1957. One thing to note about this collection is I'm pretty sure it was all from one person because the same name is written on 3 of the books. I'll remember that name when I get to it, but I didn't see any so far. Next, we got Casper the Friendly Ghost number... What is this, number 7? Yeah, issue number 7 from 1957. Really awesome character who I grew up watching the animated television show, and then we got a movie in the early mid-90s as well. Someone that I've have been familiar with since my childhood. Really cool character. Love this next cover. This is again a Casper book a little bit later from the 60s, 1962, issue number 44. Really awesome checkerboard cover with them playing what kind of looks to be checkers, but clearly isn't because it's not a full checkerboard on the turtle's shell. I thought that was pretty funny. Then we got another Classics Illustrated. This is A Tale of Two Cities, which was way back in Classics Illustrated number 6. Of course, this is one of those reprints. Highest recorded number is 117 on this one. So this is much later than the early 40s, maybe even late 30s that this book was originally printed in. It does have that original cover, though. They changed the Tale of Two Cities cover. This was the original one, though. Moving on, we got a 4-color book here from the Golden Age, 4-color number 717, featuring the story of Moby Dick. Again, $10 on this one. Great 4-color stuff, which is very collectible. If you're not sure what 4-color is, it is the most expansive comic run from this era. It went well over 1,000 issues. And if you want to learn a little bit more about it, Mint Hunter Comics has a great video explaining 4-color and kind of what came along with it. So definitely check that out. The last of the $10 books, another Golden Age book. I believe this was the 3rd oldest book in the collection. We got New Funnies number 176 from 1951. Really old book here. And great cover here, cartoony characters. I'm not even familiar with these characters at all, but nonetheless, cool stuff from the early 1950s. Solidly Golden Age stuff. Moving on to books that I have at $15. From 1959, we got Mighty Mouse number 77. This is a character who I've heard about. I think my dad grew up watching this show, but I don't think I ever watched anything with Mighty Mouse myself. But I do have memories of the character just because I think my dad talked about it. Maybe I watched reruns or something like that as a kid. Then we've got 1959, another one of those 4-color books. This one is a comic adaptation of Ben-Hur, which was a movie, I guess, about the Roman Empire, I would think, given the color. I don't know. I've never seen it. But this is 4-Color Comics number 1052. So that shows you, quite a bit over 1,000 issues. This is back from 1959. Moving on to some Walt Disney comics and stories from 1953. This one features Donald Duck and his nephews, and not only that, but the cover is by Carl Banks, who is, famous Disney artist. Did a lot of stuff with Donald Duck and all the surrounding characters there. I'm not sure what special characters he created, if any, but he's just very famous from doing a lot of Disney art from this era in comic books. Then we've got an Archie book. This one is from 1963, issue number 135. Had this marked at $20, and it seems like the only significance that I could really find online is that it has this weird car, this jalopy here, as they describe it on the cover. Probably just an interesting cover from a book from the Silver Age of comics. Then we've got Archie's Joke Book number 63. This book actually was selling online for like $50, $60, $70. Unfortunately, this copy has the cover detached, so I have it at $20. But I think it's the Halloween outfits and the fact he's dressed as an angel and trying to kiss the girl. I think that's what makes this cover a little bit more coveted than a lot of the other Archie stuff from this era. Then we're going back to 1950. I believe this is the second oldest book. Yep, this is second oldest book. This is 4-Color Comics number 274, 1950. We got some Bugs Bunny action right here. Nothing key or significant about this, but Golden Age of comics, Bugs Bunny, really popular character, and of course, being in the 4-Color line, there's a lot of collectors out there that go for those books. Then we've got Walt Disney's Goofy. Again, this is a 4-Color book from 1953, a little bit later, issue number 468, and has Sheriff Goofy on the cover, one of those spin-offs of Goofy that was really popular and really always has been. I remember watching Sheriff Goofy stuff when I was a kid. So great 4-Color book, and like I said, I have this one priced at $20. We saw this one in the beginning and in the thumbnail. We got Mickey Mouse and the Black Sorcerer. This is another 4-Color comic, issue number 248 from 1949. This is the oldest book that I picked up that day. Not the most expensive, that's coming next, but it is the oldest. I have it marked at $20. It's pretty low grade. I thought this might kind of have something to do with the Sorcerer's Apprentice, but it actually turns out this came out after Sorcerer's Apprentice, so I don't think there's any tie in there or anything like that. I thought this might have maybe had been an inspiration for that, but it doesn't seem like that is the case. Maybe vice versa, though. This might have been inspired by Sorcerer's Apprentice. Really great Mickey Mouse and Goofy cover, though. Now, the last book that I've got from you. These were all from one dealer, and we'll talk about the price that I paid on this in just a second. But first, we got to show you the best book. This was from another dealer. This is from the guy that set up that was a comic book dealer primarily, as opposed to the guy I got these books from, who was more of an antique dealer. Could not believe I found this book at a flea market of all places. We've got, from the Golden Age of Comics, 1956, Batman number 100. Check this out. Not only is this an awesome milestone issue from the end of the Golden Age of comics, but it actually has Batman number 1 right there on the cover. It's got some key and significant issues. There's the one that has Batman playing checkers with the Joker on the front. Important issues from Batman's history. And, of course, the one that started it all with this run, Batman number 1. This was so exciting to find. And I mentioned that this guy was having a 50% off sale. This book was marked at $200, which honestly is probably pretty close to fair market value for a lower grade copy of this book, unslabbed. But 50% off, that's $100. I was looking at slabs online, and it seemed like 1.0s were selling for about $300. 1.0s. This is probably better than that. I think this is a 1.5 or a 1.8, maybe even a 2.0 if I get very, very lucky, but probably a 1.5, 1.8. So, you know, I paid $100 for this. I'm going to get it slabbed up, you know, pay 50 or whatever for that. And, you know, this book will probably be worth $300 to $400 at that point. Definitely was a good buy. I'm happy about it. It's staying in the personal collection, though. I collect Batman stuff. So this one is not for sale. But all these that I mentioned were. Let's go back to, you know, we talked about the price of the Batman book already. So let's talk about these. I asked him, you know, how much do you want for everything? And he said, make an offer. And I said, $40. I thought it was about 20 to 30 comics. So I was thinking, $2 a book. He's like, it's, you know, he counted them out. It was 30 books, and he wanted $3 a book. So that came to $90. And I was like, you know, the condition's not great on them. I didn't want to pay 90. I not where I wanted to be. So I came up to 60. We eventually met on $70. We did a little negotiating. $70 is the price that I paid for all 30 of these books. Now, if you were counting along the way, what I have them priced at is between $250 and $300. I forget exactly where it fell, but somewhere in between $250 and $300. So from the $70, you know, if all goes well, you know, being really optimistic, I'm going to quadruple up. In reality, I'll probably think I'll fall between the double up and triple up, maybe between like $150 and $220. Somewhere in there, I'll be able to get for everything. A lot of the lower grade, you know, detached cover things, I might bundle together and sell off to someone who wants reader copies. So we'll end up seeing, you know, later on how much I end up getting for this. But I think at $70, I'm not going to lose money on it or anything like that. I'm really stoked about finding these. You know, every yard sale that has comic books has 90s stuff and even 80s stuff, and 2000 stuff is pretty easy to find. But, you know, as you get older and older, 70s a little bit harder, 60s harder than that, and 50s, 1950s, there wasn't even a book from 1949 in here. This book right here, just amazing. And then to have such a big key like Batman number 100, you know, key for its significance in the Batman run, not because of a character or anything, but a milestone issue with Batman number 1 on the front. So awesome that I found this at a yard sale, or rather a flea market, and got it all for a great price. Let me know in the comments how you think I did. Tell me one of your stories about finding something awesome at a flea market. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up for a like as well. Subscribe to the channel and ring that bell for notifications. And until next time, turn the page, wash your hands.